Imagine installing a Linux distribution that boots faster than expected, feels surprisingly lightweight, and doesn't rely on the software that powers the startup process of almost every major Linux distribution today. It sounds unusual because for most Linux users, systemd has become such a standard part of the operating system that many don't even realize alternatives still exist. But beneath the surface of the Linux ecosystem is a growing community of developers and enthusiasts who believe Linux doesn't need systemd at all. They argue that the operating system worked perfectly before it existed and can continue to thrive without it. This raises an interesting question. What does a Linux operating system without systemd actually look like, and why are some users actively avoiding one of Linux's most influential technologies? To understand this debate, it's important to know what systemd actually does. When you press the power button on a Linux computer, the Linux kernel loads first, but it doesn't directly launch your desktop environment or applications. Instead, it starts a process known as PID1, the first user space process responsible for initializing the entire operating system. For decades, this role belonged to traditional init systems such as sysvinit, which used simple shell scripts to start services one after another. It was reliable, understandable, and easy to troubleshoot, although not particularly fast or feature-rich. Then, in 2010, systemd entered the Linux world with a completely different philosophy. Instead of merely starting services, it aimed to modernize the entire initialization process. It introduced parallel service startup, dependency management, integrated logging through journaled, device management, session tracking, timers, network management integration, and many other features. The goal was to make Linux boot faster, manage services more efficiently, and provide a unified infrastructure across different distributions. Many distributions quickly embraced systemd. Fedora adopted it first, followed by Arch Linux, OpenSUSE Debian, Ubuntu, and eventually most mainstream Linux distributions. Today, if you're using Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Arch, Linux Mint, or countless others, chances are you're already using systemd every time your computer boots. But not everyone welcomed the change. Critics argued that systemd violated one of Linux's oldest design principles: do one thing and do it well. Instead of remaining a simple init system, systemd expanded into many areas traditionally handled by separate programs. For some users, this felt like unnecessary complexity. They worried that combining so many responsibilities into one project increased dependencies, reduced flexibility, and made Linux less modular. These concerns led to the creation and continued development of Linux distributions that intentionally avoid systemd. One of the best-known examples is Devuan, a fork of Debian specifically created to preserve a system-free experience. When Debian officially adopted systemd, some users disagreed strongly enough to create an entirely separate distribution that maintained compatibility with Debian while replacing systemd with traditional init systems like sysvinit or OpenRC. Installing Devuan feels surprisingly familiar to anyone who's used Debian. The package management remains nearly identical, software repositories are similar, and desktop environments behave much the same. Yet underneath, the operating system starts using a completely different initialization process. This demonstrates an important point. From a user's perspective, a Linux system without systemd can look almost identical to one that uses it. Another popular option is Alpine Linux. Originally designed for servers, containers, and embedded systems, Alpine uses OpenRC instead of systemd. OpenRC focuses on simplicity while still supporting modern service management. Because Alpine also uses the Muzzle C library instead of glibc, the distribution remains remarkably small. Docker users frequently choose Alpine images because they consume far less storage and memory than traditional Linux distributions. Gentoo Linux offers another interesting perspective. Gentoo allows users to choose between OpenRC and systemd during installation, reflecting its philosophy of giving users maximum control over their operating systems. This flexibility has helped OpenRC remain one of the most respected alternatives in the Linux world. Void Linux takes yet another approach by using Runit, an extremely lightweight init system known for its simplicity and speed. Unlike systemd, Runit consists of only a few small components responsible for service supervision, initialization, and shutdown. Many users praise Void Linux for its responsiveness, minimal resource usage, and straightforward design. What actually changes when using these alternatives? Surprisingly, for everyday computing, not much. Web browsers open normally. Office applications work exactly as expected. Games launch the same way. Programming tools function normally. Most desktop users could spend hours using a system-free distribution without realizing anything different. The biggest differences usually appear behind the scenes. Service management commands change significantly. On systemd, users typically type commands like systemtl start, systemtl stop, or systemtl status, runit, or sysvinit. Different commands manage services. Administrators familiar with one init system may need time to learn another, but the underlying concepts remain largely the same. Boot processes also differ. Systemd aggressively parallelizes service startup using dependency graphs to reduce boot times. Traditional init systems often start services sequentially, although alternatives like OpenRC have introduced smarter dependency handling over the years. In practice, modern SSDs have narrowed the real-world difference considerably, making startup speed less noticeable than it once was. Logging represents another major distinction. Systemd introduced journaled, storing logs in a structured binary format with advanced filtering capabilities. Critics argue that plain text log files remain easier to inspect using basic Unix tools. System supporters counter that journaled offers far more powerful diagnostic capabilities, especially on complex systems. One reason the debate has persisted for so many years is that it reflects two different philosophies about Linux itself. One philosophy emphasizes integration, consistency, and modern infrastructure. The other prioritizes modularity, simplicity, and independent components. Neither side is entirely right or wrong. They simply value different aspects of operating system design. Compatibility is another important consideration. Because systemd has become so widespread, some modern software assumes its presence. Certain desktop environments, utilities, or enterprise applications may expect systemd features, making life more difficult on non-system distributions. Developers of system-free distributions often provide compatibility layers or alternative implementations, but maintaining them requires continuous effort. Containers have added another twist to the discussion. Docker containers frequently avoid running full init systems altogether, while Kubernetes environments often minimize initialization requirements. In these situations, lightweight alternatives may actually be more practical than a feature-rich init system designed for complete operating systems. Resource usage also enters the conversation. Although modern computers easily handle systems' memory footprint, enthusiasts running old hardware, embedded devices, or minimal virtual machines sometimes prefer smaller alternatives. Every megabyte matters in constrained environments, making simpler init systems attractive choices. The debate surrounding systemd has occasionally become one of the most passionate disagreements in Linux history. Mailing lists, forums, and conferences have seen heated arguments over software architecture, Unix philosophy, governance, and project direction. Yet, despite these disagreements, the diversity of Linux has allowed both approaches to continue evolving side by side. Interestingly, many users who intentionally choose system-free distributions aren't doing so because they hate systemd. Instead, they appreciate having choices. Linux has always been about freedom, experimentation, and customization. For these users, selecting OpenRC, runit, or sysvinit simply reflects the flexibility that makes Linux unique. For newcomers wondering whether they should avoid systemd, the answer is usually simple: probably not. Mainstream distributions using systemd provide excellent hardware support, extensive documentation, broad software compatibility, and large communities ready to help. Most users will never encounter problems directly caused by systemd itself. However, for enthusiasts interested in learning how Linux works internally, experimenting with a system-free distribution can be incredibly educational. It exposes users to alternative service managers, traditional initialization methods, and different approaches to operating system design. Understanding these differences deepens appreciation for Linux's remarkable diversity. Ultimately, the existence of Linux distributions without systemd demonstrates something remarkable about open-source software. Even after one technology becomes dominant, alternatives continue to exist because anyone is free to build a different vision. Whether someone prefers the integrated capabilities of systemd, the minimalist elegance of runit, the balanced approach of OpenRC, or the traditional simplicity of sysvinit, Linux provides that freedom. In a computing world increasingly shaped by standardization and uniform platforms, the ability to choose the very first process your operating system runs remains one of Linux's most distinctive strengths. The Linux operating system without systemed isn't just a technical curiosity, it represents the enduring spirit of choice, experimentation, and user control that has defined Linux since its earliest days, proving that even the foundations of an operating system can remain open to innovation and personal preference.